Good morning. Thank you, David, for allowing me to come and speak to you today. And what I want to do today is to talk to you a little bit about the success that my bank has had through the implementation of the Haberfeld strategy. Real quickly, I want to tell you a little bit about Vision Bank. Vision Bank is located or headquartered in Ada, Oklahoma. We actually have assets around $650 million. We've been in existence for a long time. We're over 100 years old. We're defined as what you would call a community bank that's locally owned. And we have branches in 7 different communities with populations ranging from 1,100 to 31,000. So a wide range in our different branches. Also, as far as our growth, there's some key things that have helped us grow. First being acquisitions and mergers, the second being de novo branching, and the third being the Haberfeld strategy. So real quickly, let me give you an overview of what we did and what I feel like has made us successful with the Haberfeld strategy, beside the fact that it's a good strategy. One of the first things that we did as management and as we were going through the processes of understanding and reviewing the Haberfeld plan and thought process was that we included our board, and we included all the executive management, and we included the senior management and the branch presidents when we made this decision and discussed it, because it was important to get their buy-in at all levels. And a key thing, I have to be honest with you, from our board level, one key thing about the Haberfeld contract that really stood out to us, and one thing they offer, they put no term in their contract. How many of you have had the opportunity to sign a contract with any vendor recently where there was no term? Haberfeld is confident enough in their product, they're willing to make that stand. So at any point in time, you as a bank can turn and leave if that is the fact that the choice that you made. For us, it has not been the choice. We have truly chosen to stay, and you'll see why as I go through my presentation. Also, another key thing that we've done is we followed every single recommendation that Haberfeld suggested. And for us, that was hard. David mentioned the fact of the check systems. We use check systems. That was very difficult to make that decision to go away from that. Why? For one thing, it's the way we've always done it. And I know many of the things, that's what y'all hear about a lot of things. Why do you do it? It's the way we've always done it. A second thing, who also requires 2 forms of ID when you open an account? Do very many of you? Well, that's one thing that we did. When asked why, it's the way we always did it. There was no regulatory requirement to do that. So there were several things that we had to put in place that were outside of our comfort zone. And for many of us, especially at Vision Bank, the executive management and the senior level management were what we would call mature. So in other words, older, like I am, and each of you know how easy it is to make people that are more mature to accept change. So it was kind of difficult when we went through this process. Finally, the third thing we did, we actually implemented what Haberfeld defines as a disciplined core customer acquisition strategy, which pertains to 3 separate things. First, we had a simplified product line. That's so important and that was one thing that we had to truly go through that process. Because of all the mergers and acquisitions we had been through, we had so many different types of accounts, it was very, very difficult for our employees to feel confident in being able to sell our products. So Haberfeld came in and truly helped us go through our product line. We now only offer 7 different accounts, 4 retail and 3 business. And it's very easy for our CSRs and our frontline people to sell our product because they basically go through a decision tree. And at the end, they truly feel confident in knowing I am guiding this customer to make the best decision in choosing the account that's best for them. That is so very, very important. Finally, they gave us the tools to train and coach and monitor our employees, which you have to be able to determine, are they in fact doing what you want them to do? And with that confidence, we're truly being able to see that it is being successful. And the last part of their strategy, and probably one of the most important, is the significantly increased targeted marketing. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go forward. Again, as far as our approach, like David said, we're not going out trying to steal our competition's customers. That's not what we want. Truly what we want is when a customer or an individual comes to the point in time that they're ready to change their banking relationship, we want them to pick us. And statistics have shown that 10 to 15% of each customer or household will change banking relationships in any one year. So yes, we're in a fixed market, we're changing customers between banks and credit unions. But the good news is this, and I think this slide shows it so well. In a fixed market, there truly is an infinite pipeline of opportunity. And with that pipeline, we want them to choose us. So what's been our results? From the very beginning, we began to double the number of accounts that we were opening. Again, double the number of accounts. The total number of accounts that we had as of July 2018, since the beginning, our inception of October of 2016 when we began this strategy, we've opened up 6,277 accounts. Also, our interchange income, 26%. But for me, the intangible results that I didn't really expect was the excitement of our employees in all of our locations because they felt confident in what they were doing. They believed in our products. They knew they could sell our products and truly direct our customers in making the right decisions. And finally, there was no increase in operational costs when we were opening up twice as many accounts as we were before. We've had to add no staff, but because of the efficiencies that Haberfeld helped us put in place, we've actually been able to maintain or even decrease some of our staff numbers in many of our branches. This is an example of the same chart that David put up previously for all of their Haberfeld customers. But this is our household averages for our consumer accounts, and you can see since our kickoff we've had right around 4,400. And again, this is household, not number of accounts, so it's a little bit different than the number I gave you just a minute ago. With every household, there's been an average of 1.663 checking accounts. And you can see the other different type of accounts that have been opened with those relationships: savings, checking, CDs, loans. And with every relationship, an average of 2.693 accounts with each relationship. The total number of deposits around 18,000, and in loans, 15,000. We've had the same success with our businesses, our business accounts. We've had 617 business accounts, which each business relationship and checking, we had 1.634 accounts opened. Again, look at the other accounts that were added through cross-selling. Our total relationship, 4.65. Look at the dollar amount in deposits and loans, 83,000, and then our loan volume, 131,000. We talked a little bit about the targeted marketing, and I wanted to give you a little bit more detail by what we meant by that. One key thing that Haberfeld was able to bring to our bank that we didn't have the capabilities of doing was some of the data analytics. And this is what they call a DAR map, which is basically what they do is they provide a map that overlays your communities. And this basically is a map of Oklahoma and the location of our communities. And with the data analytics they can direct us in knowing where do we want to target market, or in other words, mail-specific mailings to customers, and in what mail carriers do we want to utilize. They have that data through some of their 168, I think, is the data points that we determined last night, and we're talking through. And with this map, these are our communities. Basically, the red areas are the ones, those are the ones you do not want to send mail to. The green ones are the ones you want to add, and the yellow ones are the ones you actually want to retain. Look at the correlation between the actual locations of the accounts that we've opened since we implemented Haberfeld. So they were right on point as far as helping us recognize and identify the locations that were truly good for us in doing what we call these mail drops. Another key thing is they helped us develop what we call a sample marketing message. This is one of the latest ones that we recently did, and I actually brought several that I wanted to show you today of examples that they have helped our marketing team at our bank, because we do have a marketing team, but they've assisted us in choosing and designing these. Many times they fall in with whatever time of the year it may be, whether it be fall, Christmas, football season, summer, those type of things. But the key thing is they give you a simple message, full service banking, which including free personal and business, with the key word being free. Obviously, that's very important. Also, you'll see on the back, we usually always have a gift that we give with each new customer. That was a new thing for us too, which is part of the Haberfeld strategy. Who would have thought that offering a crock pot or a cooler or a hammock, some of these things people get really excited about. And I have to say, some of those things I wanted myself and have actually gone down and bought them when we had them through one of our emphasis that we've done each time with our sample marketing. Here on this one, you can see it's actually kind of like a cooler or glass that we're actually providing a thermos. But these items have been really instrumental in making a difference on customers coming in and wanting to open an account. But again, it's very important to have that message available. Finally, Haverfeld helped us realize, looking at our people and recognizing, when do people change financial institutions? First, when they have money. Second, and they usually have money when they get paid. And also helping us identify in our markets, when are the individuals in our markets getting paid? Is it weekly? Is it bi-weekly? It's bi-monthly. And they helped us recognize that approximately every 6 weeks, those things overlap, or in other words, they line up. And that's the time frames in which we normally do the mailers. We drop mail to those different communities because that's the time you're going to get the most number as far as new accounts coming in to be opened. And for what David and them call it, or Haverfeld, not David and them, they call it the double whammy payday. And that's truly what we've seen. So again, like David mentioned, what we've had to do is step back and look at what are truly our marginal revenues and comparing those to our marginal cost. So again, let's review what our success has been. Since inception, we've doubled the number of accounts that we've opened. We've opened 6,277 accounts. We've added from these new households $34 million in core deposits. We've also had $79 million in loans and an additional $33 million in other deposits. So I know you as CFOs, and you're just like me, when I was going through this process and thinking about it, I wanted someone to show me the money. I wanted to see truly where is the profitability going to happen. This is a great example. Okay, on the 34 million in core deposits that we added, our average yield is 5.19%. On the deposits that we've added, the average cost has been right around 5 basis points. The net difference in those two being 5.14. On the 34 million, we're averaging $278 a year in a spread on those accounts. Also, that's not even taking into consideration the additional earnings we're making off those additional loans of 45 million and those additional deposits, which in the future will truly be profitable, especially in a rising rate environment. Again, the key thing, though, that I really want to point out to you is the non-interest income we're experiencing. On our average account, we're having $110 a year in net NSF fees. On top of that, we're having $60 a year average on interchange income per year per account. So overall, as far as our fee income, we've raised it $170 account per year. I feel like that's exactly how you grow fee income without raising fees. So let's recap. $278 a net in the spread. Again, we haven't even tried to value of the other loans and the other deposits. An increase of $170 in our fee income to give you a total of $448 per customer per year. So yes, have there been negatives? I'm not going to lie to you, there have been. Because there's always something there that you may not realize, but for us, they've been minor things. The things we have experienced, we have been seeing a decrease in our service charges. When all your accounts are free, you're not going to have service charges very often. But that's the trend in every market, not just our market. We also have had a slight increase in our charge-offs. But the increase in our NSF fees and interchange fees have more than compensated for our increases in charge-offs. We've increased our advertising costs. It costs money to print those flyers that I just showed you, as well as the postage, and also the free gifts that we give away. That does cost money. But again, the income that we're bringing into our bank is far compensating us more than the additional costs that we're incurring. Finally, we did have some customers that played the system. Some customers came in, they wanted that hammock, and so they opened an account, they let their account go back to zero, and then they closed it. But that's okay, because with that, we recognize the fact that, yes, and as David mentioned, there is danger in averages. And when you do double the profitable accounts, you're also going to double those unprofitable accounts. But the profitable accounts far outnumber those negative accounts. And that's the key thing to always remember. Because as this slide says, it only pulled with those negative accounts, our average was pulled down to only $448 per customer. I think that's really well worth it and not a bad thing at all. So again, this is the service charge income per branch that you're seeing for us. And you can see the slope of the line and the success that we have seen through the implementation of the Haberfield strategy. And that's the success that I think has been for us one of the best products that we've put in place and the best changes that we've done at my bank, and I've been there for over 27 years during the time I've been there. At this point, we're through with the presentation and are open for questions that any of you might have as far as how we approached it, what we would have done different. Good.
We're about a $210 million bank, and our experience is absolutely spot on. Two things I would like to add. Rather than have customers game the system, if they use the telephone friend coupons, the person who refers a friend gets that coupon, then they can get that free gift as well for telling a friend.
Right.
So that helps that. As far as the advertising costs going up, yes, they did in that regard, but we were able to reduce our advertising costs in many other senses.
Exactly.
So in fact, our marketing and advertising budget has remained relatively flat. It has been a tremendous program for us as well. And it really did allow fee income to go up without raising fees.
Thank you. You're exactly right. Many of our other advertising costs did actually decrease when we did the comparison of the two. And also, do you have more than one market? Did you experience the growth in every single market? That's what we experienced as well, which we were very excited about, because some of our communities were what we would call mature communities. They were smaller, they weren't growing, nothing was really happening there. And we'd been in that community for quite a few years, but we still had the success of growth in those markets.
The one thing I forgot to add is I got a call the other day from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, and they said to me, "How are you experiencing such deposit growth? No one else in your market area is seeing the growth that you are, and it's all in core."
Yeah.
Everybody else is competing for CDs. Mm-hmm. We're not. Our cost of funds has remained low, and it's fabulous.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, we primarily are a retail bank, but we do have some large commercial customers. That's one thing that was really good for us as far as the Haberfield strategy, because we're in a community that has several large Indian tribes, which had some fairly large deposits in one of our banks, and because they were changing some relationships and directions that they were going, we were really needing to replace some of those deposits. And this came at a time that was perfect for us. But yes, we kind of a combination of both, but stronger in retail than commercial.
Have you experienced any scrutiny from your regulators on your increase in NSF charges?
Actually, we have not. We've actually gone through 2 exams. We're a national bank, so we are actually examined by the OCC. And we've gone through the process of showing them. Initially, they wanted to ensure that we were not pushing customers to an account that wasn't best for them. And again, in fact, the brochure, I have a couple of brochures if any of you would like to look at them. And the decision tree that I mentioned on where our CSRs can go through the process, the majority of the individuals that come in to open accounts end up opening a free account, which obviously is the best thing for the customer. Also, too, the fact that we really tried to not minimize, but put some things in place as far as our NSF fees. In other words, only allowing 3 per day. Not necessarily. Previously, many years ago, we allowed the larger items to go through first, and then the smaller, we changed some of that as well, so it was more of, it's just the way it comes in. And so because of some of that, we were able to show that we were truly not trying to harm our customer, and therefore, we really not had any issues, and we've been able to substantiate our increase in NSF fees. They really had no questions once we explained it to them.
And I might add on there as well. Vicki said something at the beginning of that was very important. That might get regulators' attention over time to see a 43% increase. What's really important to explain then is that your average per customer has not changed. You simply have a lot more customers, and that diffuses that, right? You haven't put in you haven't made procedural changes that are causing a lot more people to overdraft more frequently. What you've done is you've acquired a lot more customers, and you're still behaving in the same way, and you get the same averages that you've experienced before, and that diffuses.
We just charge the flat same
Can you
fee.
repeat the question?
Do we have a tiered NSF structure, was the question. And we have the same NSF structure, period. We don't increase by the number if they have more than one in one day, the same amount. Any other questions?
Very good. Well, thank you all for your time and attention this morning. We appreciate it very much.